Bolivar Live, Day Trips, and Things to Do is brought to you by Beachy Beatnik Boutique, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and you know, we've been doing day trip shows, and a lot of day trips revolve around weather. And I'm here with Brad Burness with the Galveston County Office of Emergency Management. We're recording this on Monday, which is the anniversary for the 1900 storm.
Yes, sir.
But the reason we're really recording this is because we're playing it on Wednesday, which is hump day.
Yeah.
Hump day for the week and hump day for hurricane season.
There you go. Hump season.
Knock on wood, it's been pretty quiet.
Yes, sir.
So far.
So far.
But don't let your guard down.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so September 10th, Wednesday, is hump season, I guess, if you call it. So what does that mean? Essentially, this is when the environment's most conducive to tropical cyclone activity. You've got basically the Gulf has absorbed all that sun and heat over the whole summer. And then you have essentially no wind shear, which is what cyclones don't like, because wind shear knocks it down. So, light winds, warm sea temperatures, and then also you have still moisture in the air, which is what helps the thunderstorms. All those factors together, make it real ripe conditions and for activity. So, yeah, we're not out of the woods yet, so we have to maintain our preparedness and be ready for sure.
Has Galveston County OEM done anything different this year? At the first month that we were in the season, the models were throwing all kinds of, especially the GFS. I don't know where they were getting it from, but the Europeans always been sort of here lately. It seems like it's been more conservative on what's going to happen. How's the OEM done anything different this year versus past years, because of we haven't really seen any development and anything come into the Gulf?
Sure. We've
seen everything's gone up the East Coast, and we've had a lot of Sahara dust this year, which I think might help. It helps us. I just don't know how much. But have y'all started dialing back or changing anything because of the season we've had to this point?
I don't think we change a whole lot, to be honest with you. We prepare the same way every year. It only takes that one storm to create catastrophic impacts on our area. So we continue with the preparedness. We continue telling people to make a plan, have a kit prepared, and most importantly, stay informed with the emergency alerts. So the Sahara dust probably has had an impact. Those conditions, essentially, those are drier conditions, and so there's no moisture in the air for the thunderstorms and that kind of thing. And then also it also creates some wind shear, which helps knock down some of that upper atmosphere wind activity. So Sahara dust probably has had an impact, but I would say temperatures have still been pretty hot this summer. Which is kind of surprising to me, actually. I figured they actually might be somewhat busy, given the temperatures and whatnot. So, but I've seen a lot more activity, like in the Pacific and the central basins, than we have at all. I mean, for the most part, we've had a few come through and not really make landfall on the United States. We had that one that kind of hooked around the East Coast and Bermuda and all that, and somehow it missed all that. So we've been pretty lucky, but no matter what, we're just staying prepared and, all that.
We're coming into fall.
Sure.
And when a front comes down, in fact, we just had a front, and you and I were texting back and forth with the sunrise this morning because it had to have been beautiful. Yeah. We did a live feed early. We get thunderstorms, which can then produce tornadoes and stuff. And last winter, actually around right after Christmas, we had a tornado.
Sure.
What should we look for going into fall now with the front starting to come down? Y'all monitor that too.
Yeah, so that's a great point. Just kind of, talking to some experts and, watching some of the models and whatnot. Really what's the biggest threat right now for us is not really the stuff coming off the west coast of Africa, those waves. It's all the pop-up storms, and that happens a lot in the Gulf of America. So actually,
after a front goes through, it forms a low, and then.
Yep. So, and those are actually the most dangerous, because when those pop up, especially if they pop up right in the Gulf, we could be less than 48 hours of landfall anywhere on the Texas Gulf Coast, and that just doesn't give us any time to order an evacuation or do any kind of major muscle movements for our communities. So that's the most dangerous situation, is those pop-up storms in the Gulf. And
I've seen those come in. They say it's going to hit. In fact, right before Ike, one came in, it was going to be 35 mile an hour, but when it got to the end of the North Jetties and went in just to the east of High Island, it was at 75 mile an hour. And so you have to watch all that. One of the advantages the OEM has is you actually have, and you're the only OEM that has the weather service in the same building. How does that help y'all plan?
It's a pretty special situation. Like you mentioned, it's the only office in the entire United States where we're co-located with NOAA and the National Weather Service in League City. So it allows me essentially to get up out of my desk. I can literally walk, about 50 feet across the hallway and then right into the watch floor where all the analysts and forecasters are doing their business. So
y'all actually have a window in between, I think, don't you?
So we have our emergency operations center there on the second floor, and we can actually see through the window and actually see their watch floor through there. So it's just a very unique opportunity where, it's just right at my fingertips. If I have any questions, or if my supervisor or elected officials have any, concerns or questions about the forecasting or the upcoming weather, I can literally get answers in seconds. So that's very unique.
Y'all do all of Galveston County.
Yes.
And, the other week, there's a lot of times that you may put out a flood watch or a warning, and it actually be for the Kemah down South 45 League City area and not over here. And so how do you determine what areas need the watches? Is it all through the weather models and that?
Essentially, it's based off of the Weather Service forecast and predictions. So if they're putting out a severe thunderstorm warning or a thunderstorm watch, flood warning, any of those kind of scenarios for Galveston County, we need to alert everyone, because you just don't know how it can shift and where it could hit one side of the county, the north, the south. You just never know. So we need to make sure everyone is prepared and everybody's aware of the upcoming potential situation.
Have they said anything about winters? Because winters have been a little different down here over the last 5 years. We've had 2 years of freezes, then we had one winter where we didn't freeze. Last winter we had a tornado. Have they looked in the future and said anything about what they think the winters may be like this year? I didn't know how far out they looked at that.
I think they're still probably building more trends.
Okay.
Like this last season, we had that snowfall, and there was snow. You have snow now down here, right?
Ice.
It's ice down here. We had snow on the beach in Galveston. We had a couple, 2 or 3 inches up in Dickinson up there. So I just think we're kind of in a process now where we're kind of building those trends and starting back with like Winter Storm Uri in 2020, and we're starting to progressively see these winter seasons now getting a little bit more severe weather. So
that's just something you have to watch. And how often do you have a tornado that we had like go through over 124 between Christmas and New Year's?
Right. So that's why we've kind of refocused our annual guide from a hurricane guide to a disaster guide, because we're starting to get every flavor of natural, phenomenons, whether it's the derecho going through Houston, the tornadoes in December. We're starting to get hit with all of it at any time of the year. So you really have to be prepared 365.
And just stay alert. And let's talk real quick about signing up for your alerts.
Absolutely.
You and I talk quite a bit when there's weather around, but how can the public sign up so that when there's an alert for a hurricane, evacuation, rain, how can they get the notification?
So we have our website at GCOEM.org, and we have our Everbridge emergency notification signups right there on the website. We actually have, if you're visiting other jurisdictions within the county. We actually have 13 jurisdictions. We have every one of their emergency alert systems on our webpage as well. So if you go to our website, GCOEM.org, go to Stay Informed, click on that, and they'll have a whole list of all of the contacts.
Great, great. Well, we're at the peak. Hump Day is a downhill slide, or hopefully a downhill slide from now on. But like Brad said, we're getting a lot of different weathers, and in the spring and the fall we have thunderstorms and rain. Over the winter we have freezing, so please sign up for their alerts. I'm signed up, my wife's signed up. Even though we talk and get emails, we're still signed up to keep us informed. So Brad, thanks for joining us today. We're gonna head on out. I wanna thank Beachy Beatnik Boutique for sponsoring this Bolivar Live day trips and things to do, where it's all weather related. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye. Looking for that perfect blend of seaside charm and unique style? Nestled right here in the heart of Crystal Beach, Texas. Beachy Beatnik Boutique, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87. Beachy Beatnik Boutique is your coastal fashion haven and jewelry lovers' paradise. Special thank you to Beachy Beatnik Boutique for sponsoring our 2025 Bolivar Live, Bolivar Peninsula day trips and things to do. Video equipment is sponsored by Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas, and Beachy Beatnik Boutique and Jewelry, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Thank you to these two businesses for being our 2025 video equipment sponsor for Bolivar Live.